Will your local crab shack fulfill your every seafood fantasy, or will it send you into an endless nightmare of fried fish failure? Reviewers weigh in on which chains to avoid and which to dive into. While you'll find some of the best seafood served deep-fried and dropped into styrofoam containers, there's also something to be said for pricier upscale restaurants. Fish fans say that the leader in this fine dining category is Eddie V's Prime Seafood, a chain with locations in 15 states. Yelp reviews of Eddie V's Prime Seafood in Paramus, New Jersey praise dishes like Parmesan sole, butter-poached lobster mashed potatoes, and crab fried rice. San Diego Yelpers highlight their shellfish tower and shrimp as standout items, and recommend not skipping a drink, with one writing, "I still dream about that cocktail and wish I'd ordered more than one." Others throw medical concerns to the wind because the food is so good, remarking, "The lobster fried rice is heavenly. I literally eat until it hurts." Diners mention that even those who don't love seafood can have a good time. Eddie V's is also known for their outstanding steak selection.
My goal is for every person that walks in and out of this restaurant to walk out saying that's the best meal I ever had.
Like Eddie V's Prime Seafood, the Ocean Prime chain promises to deliver on the concept of prime as a promise of quality. They're fancy restaurants, and customer reviews say it's worth getting dressed up for. Ocean Prime has just 21 locations across 16 states, and guests know that they're in for a big bill at the end of their meal. Reviews of the chain confirm that price also comes with quality, though. In Tampa, one diner wrote of the crab cake appetizer, "You'll feel your feet coming off the ground." Others praise the beef options, especially the tenderness, writing, "It was the most tender, tasty, and tender steak that I've ever had." Of course, tender steak isn't everything. Ambiance is a significant factor when it comes to fancy spots like Ocean Prime, and reviewers regularly praise that as well. Some of the most popular seafood dishes at Ocean Prime include Chilean sea bass, lobster linguine, and blackened snapper. But at such a well-regarded restaurant, there's pretty much no wrong way to order. But fancy doesn't always mean quality, and that's where McCormick and Schmick stumbles in, a seafood and steakhouse restaurant with plenty of pricey menu options, but a reputation closer to that of Long John Silver's than its direct high-end competitors. One Yelp user wrote a damning review of McCormick and Schmick's in Cincinnati, Ohio, awarding the restaurant a generous 2 stars solely on the strength of a solid crab cake appetizer. Detracting from the experience was, among a couple of other faux pas, an excessively buttered salmon and some basic vegetable comprehension problems, writing, "I was told the vegetable was broccoli, but it was tough broccolini." Others claim that the experience was, quote, "meh at best," and to skip the food and focus on the booze. After visiting a location in Oxon Hill, Maryland, another customer on Yelp painted their experience in an unambiguously negative light. Bad food, bad service. Ambiance was exasperated diners and bored servers, straight out of kitchen nightmares. Did someone mention Long John Silver's? Nobody expects a fast food chain to contend with high-end establishments with prime in their names. Nevertheless, it's kind of hard to get fried foods wrong. They're fried, they're naturally delicious. But reviews for many Long John Silver's struggling locations suggest that the sizable chain's approach to quick service seafood falls short of being enjoyable, or even edible, and that's if you can get it. Too many reviews indicate that their location just ran out of fish that day and could only serve chicken. One disappointed eater learned the value of trust, writing, "Not one of my family or friends who have eaten there will ever go back, and some warned me about it, but I didn't listen." It's not all bad. One customer on Yelp enjoyed some aspects of their experience in Westminster, Colorado, mentioning the location's clean interior and friendly staff members. Unfortunately, they still found their food mediocre and lukewarm, and you don't go out to eat just because you want to sit somewhere that isn't filthy. So that's a low bar to have. Meanwhile, reviews of a location in Hartford, Connecticut are negative enough to result in an average of 1.7 stars overall, with one guest giving up even before they began, writing, "Everything from the fish, fries, and hush puppies was cold and old, and the coleslaw container wasn't even full. I threw it out." Still, some diehard fans won't give up the ghost.
We are actually serving some great fresh seafood.
Better than Long John's?
Yes.
I'll be the judge of that. Enjoy your evening.
Seafood is a broad category, spanning everything from lobster rolls to raw oyster to deep-fried fare. But you also can't forget about Hawaiian poke, which is slowly making its way across the American mainland. If you haven't tried it yet, at its core, poke refers to a bowl of raw fish and rice, with Polynesian and Japanese flavors, but the customization options are basically endless. Its popularity has exploded recently, and one of the chains leading that explosion is Island Fin Poke, which operates across 9 states. In simple terms, the chain is often compared to Chipotle, except with fish and rice bowls. Orlando-based Yelp users praise pretty much every aspect of their visit to their local location, mentioning quick service, the quality of the food, and free samples of Dole Whip. Similarly, Yelp customers have found a lot to like about a location in Worcester, Massachusetts, noting that they even give a discount if you have a gym membership. Island Fin Poke isn't the only poke powerhouse around. Pokeworks operates 68 locations in more than 20 states, and their menu includes more than just rice bowls. Hawaiian plate lunches and poke burritos make for alternative entrees, and a small cup of ramen or miso soup can even be ordered as a side. One Yelp user praised the menu at a Bellevue, Washington Pokeworks, saying, "This place is freaking delicious." In a review of Pokeworks in Florida, another Yelp user found a handful of qualities to be exemplary. Love their options. The seaweed salad here is also fresh, not soggy, and the portions are great for the price. Places like Pokeworks are best suited for healthy lunches rather than extravagant dinners, but these sorts of reviews check all the right boxes for a quality lunch spot. Another standout in the crowded world of high-end seafood chains is Truluck's, which is located mostly in Texas, with satellite restaurants in DC, Florida, and Illinois. Truluck's focuses on delivering the finest seafood and crab, as their sign indicates, but crab doesn't even make up half of their menu. Ravenous carnivores can still order a steak, just like at most fancy fish spots. Yelp users across the board highlight attentive service, tasty drinks, consideration given to dietary restrictions, and some unique dishes, with one stating, "The clean seafood is so enjoyable, and the apps and sides are just so interesting. The crab guac is perfect with the plantains. Go ahead and get some crab fried rice too, because what does crab not make better?" In a Yelp review of the Rosemont, Illinois location, another customer shared pretty much nothing but praise. "Where do I begin with the seafood? Incredible. We'll for sure be back."
Where to for lunch, boys?
I want to get me some Captain D's.
Captain D's Seafood Kitchen fits a unique spot among chain seafood restaurants. Its fried menu is reminiscent of fast food fish joints, but their fast casual environment elevates the overall vibe. However, that veneer just isn't quite enough to satisfy online reviewers, many of whom have shared bad experiences at various locations across the US. The majority of reviews for a location in Kansas City are critical of logistical issues, including malfunctioning computers and long wait times. One particular Yelp reviewer focused solely on that location's food, recalling, "The fish had a very odd taste. Couldn't eat it." Another asked, "Who runs this cluster?" Another Yelp user took similar issue with their fish at a Captain D's in Hendersonville, Tennessee. "It was close by, and my neighbor wanted fish. It was truly disgusting. I do not even believe that it was fish. It was extremely thin. I'm talking fettuccine noodle thin, with lots of batter, and it did not even resemble fish in any way, shape, or form. I will never go there again." Brown bag seafood is a bizarro version of Captain D's, and that's a good thing. It's a bit more elegantly designed, but their menu still consists largely of fried and grilled seafood dishes that make for solid lunchtime entrees. Their quality may be at least partially a result of their limited reach. Brown bag seafood has only 12 locations in Illinois, Georgia, and North Carolina, so they're not spread too thin. After visiting the Charlotte, North Carolina location, one Yelp user's 5-star review mentioned the chain's great customer service, and one particular combo. "I got the lobster roll and Parmesan tater tots. I look forward to going back again soon." Another visitor of an Atlanta, Georgia location doubled down on their approval. "The first time I visited here, I got the lobster roll and parm tots, and they were amazing, so filling and tasty. My second visit, I got the grilled shrimp, veggies, and slaw. I'd highly recommend visiting Brown Bag Seafood. You will not regret it." Joe's Crab Shack maintains a relatively small number of locations, with just 15 across the most touristy areas of 7 states, like Daytona, Florida's Main Street Pier, and the Riverwalk in San Antonio, Texas. Perhaps unsurprisingly for a chain focusing on tourists looking for an amazing experience, reviews are less than glowing. In a review of a Myrtle Beach location, a Yelp user recounted how service was slow and the food endangered his dental work, recalling, "Some of the clam meat was hard and I could have broke a tooth." Another Yelp user had a similar experience at an Orlando, Florida location. Ordered the Crab Daddy Feast. It had decent flavor, but everything was overcooked. Seafood and corn was mushy. Nothing taken off the bill. Probably won't return. A name like Pappadeaux Seafood Kitchen might suggest Cajun roots in Louisiana, but the restaurant is actually rooted in nearby Houston, Texas. Many of Pappadeaux's 35-plus locations are in Texas, and their reach expands to Colorado, New Mexico, Ohio, and beyond. Of course, the Pappadeaux menu is full of Cajun delicacies, ranging from staples like gumbo or etouffee to hot honey-glazed gator bites. Yelp users have highlighted attentive service in Phoenix, in addition to dishes like seafood, gumbo, oysters, crab, and swordfish. After a visit to a location in Austin, Texas, one particular reviewer had good things to say about the chain's seafood. "I got the fried seafood platter, about $40. It was amazing. It's so easy to overcook seafood, but they always do it right. Not only is the food done to perfection, but there's a lot of it. A mound of French fries under a pile of fried perfection. Doesn't get any better." The bad news about Red Lobster is that reviews for restaurants nationwide include enough negative feedback to warrant it a spot among the worst reviewed seafood chains in America. The good news is that, with nowhere to go but up, Red Lobster is poised to make a comeback, with their new management promising significant changes to the menu, intended to revitalize the chain. For now, though, Red Lobster still suffers as one of the lesser seafood chains in America. One Yelp user awarded a Red Lobster in Orlando, Florida, a 3-star rating, but the mid rating was for the okay service, not the disappointing food, saying, "I had the ultimate seafood platter with crab legs that were small and mostly empty. The shrimp scampi was overcooked." At a location in Cincinnati, Ohio, a customer on Yelp had similar issues. The service was good, but the quality of the food was not. The lobster was awful, chewy and tough crab legs. Well, there wasn't enough crab in those crab legs to even review them. Very disappointed. Seafood boil restaurants aren't usually scaled up into national chains. Boiling crawfish, shrimp, crab, and whatever else can be cooked in a big pot full of Cajun spices is a little harder to sell than easy-to-eat fried fare. Crawfish can get complicated.
Twist
Separate
the tail.
head, suck the head. Don't forget to suck the head.
Can I do that on morning television?
But hot and juicy crawfish is one exception, with locations across the U.S., where reviews are notably positive across the board. Reviewing the location in Falls Church, Virginia, a Yelp user praised ambiance, food, service, cost, and overall experience, with all 5 categories receiving positive marks, all while apparently trying to set a world record. The crawfish was fresh and sweet. It did not take long to finish the 3 pounds of crawfish. Another Yelp user recommended the chain as a must for anyone looking to enjoy seafood boil on a trip to Orlando, Florida, writing, "The seafood tastes very fresh, and even though crawfish was not in season at the moment, it was still really good. Their special sauce is literally to die for. It's honestly the best sauce I have ever tried for seafood boil."